If you're letting your job steal your weeknights and your weekends, then I'm sorry to say, but that is your fault. Your life is happening now. Go live it at all costs. And I don't care if you're tired, because if you got unalive tomorrow and someone studied your life, what would they say it stood for? Would they say you stood for courage, even when it cost you comfort? Would they see a life that prioritized family, creativity, contribution, joy? Or would they just see someone who just survived, who barely existed, who did what was expected of them and stayed in the safe lane? When I was on my career break, where I took 12 months off work to figure out what my next steps were going to be, I was suddenly confronted with all of those emotions, because I knew how easy it was to just be like a plastic bag blowing in the wind with no direction. But I made a conscious decision not to be like that anymore. And what helped me was creating something called a personal manifesto. It's a clear filter for your life and career, and it sets a set of principles that define what you stand for, what you want, and what you refuse to tolerate. How you create one is really simple. Step one, you need to define your values. These are the principles you want your life to reflect. Things like growth, honesty, adventure, or connection. For me, one of my core values was growth. If I'm not learning or evolving, then I'm stagnating. I just feel stuck. Step two is define your non-negotiables. These are essentially your boundaries that you won't cross, the patterns you refuse to repeat. So for me, I didn't want to be that person that prioritized work over lifestyle anymore. And I didn't want to work in environments where I had to shrink myself, or I didn't want to be the person that made decisions purely based on money. And then step three is clarify your guiding beliefs. These are like the truths you want to live by every day. They're like your personal mantras. One really important one for me was freedom is worth more than titles, and opportunities aren't given, they're created. And I wanted to be that person that creates my own opportunities. So when you put all of these things together, you've got a filter or a shortcut for making decisions that can cut through the noise, but still keep you working towards your North Star without you seemingly drifting off in some other direction that you didn't even want.